Can we talk about the people who don't just create, but they make spaces? The people who put structure in place where there has been no structure. The cultural shakers, people that really make things make sense. And they understand that creativity is not just about vibes. We need systems. So today we have somebody that is doing just that. Somebody that knows that movements do not sustain themselves. People sustain them. We have somebody that puts a comma where a full stop may or should have been. Somebody that makes sense. A creative founder, a strategist, a cultural builder. Natalie, can we talk? How are you feeling? And I don't want a LinkedIn answer. I want a proper answer. How are you feeling today?
At the LinkedIn answer. I am good. I am in a season of where you feel everything at once. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily like in a good or a bad way, but like in an honest, taking everything as it is way. So that's how I'm feeling right now.
Okay. And how has life been treating you? Obviously, we're in Ghana right now, so we're all glowing. But how has life been treating you? How are you finding it?
I'd say 2026 this year is definitely the year that I intend to bring everything that I've been learning in my 20s to life.
Yeah.
And so much has been happening in this season where it's been proving my 19-year-old self right. So it's just a case of, I should have just gone with what I believe to be true. But on the other side, I don't really have regrets because I had to go through all of these different phases and all of these different events to be able to validate what I knew then. So yeah, it's still bittersweet as I said to how I was feeling generally, but I would say it's all necessary.
Necessary. Okay. So right now we're in the season of necessary.
Yes.
Obviously, I know a bit about you, but for those that don't know who you are, who is Natalie Narh? Just talk to us.
Yeah, I think at the basis of things, I am someone who is a creative myself, and I enable other people who just happen to be Black and African to be creative as well. That's who I am and have always been at the core of things.
And why the creative industry?
People ask me this question, and it's only because when I look at other industries, they just don't match everything that I naturally fall into. I grew up in a creative household. My parents aren't creatives themselves, but my sister, she's a full-time artist and illustrator. So we've always been in an environment that was enabling of our creativity. And I think a lot of people end up growing out of it because they get funneled or like boxed into different things that are a bit more conventional. Whereas we just never got that. So yeah, it's just been something I've always been, and it's something that I want to help other people be as well.
I love that. So tell me, were you getting the conversations at home that was, the doctor, the lawyer,
I got media law, to be fair, but I was like, maybe not.
New.Comma. We have to talk about it. We can't have the co-founder in the building and not discuss what you have founded.
Exactly.
Okay. So for anyone that is listening who may benefit as well from this conversation and from New.Comma, what is it?
New.Comma is a talent marketplace that connects the world to the best African creative talent. Creators come to our platform to build portfolios, grow a network through our feed, and to apply for opportunities. And businesses come to our platform to use our applicant tracking system and opportunities board to find creatives. Creativity was at the core of how I interacted with people, how we interacted with people. And for us, it was contextualizing what the gaps look like in a continental sense. Yeah. And what I mean by that is, of course, the question of talent on the continent is not even a question. It's something that we all know to be true. Right?
Listen.
But as with every other industry that you can point to here, there are gaps in terms of the infrastructure that we have. There are gaps in terms of the synchronicity between the knowing and the doing, but then also the monetizing.
Yes.
And for us, it was just about taking all of those layers and putting them into a place that we can formalize and properly articulate. Because for a lot of creative people, they know that they enjoy the skills they know that that's what they like or love to do.
Yeah.
However, they might not always find it easy to explain what they do to someone who isn't in the industry, right? And for us, it's about equipping creatives with the tools to be able to articulate what they do. Because if someone doesn't know or understand what you do, it's very hard for them to ascribe value to it. So yeah, that's who we are, and that's what we do.
I love that. And firstly, I want to say thank you for finding the gap and deciding that you was going to do something about it. Because a lot of people don't do things like that. And even what you've just said, I've mentioned this to Natalie off camera. I've never actually mentioned it on camera about why I even started any of this, the debut show or anything like that. And it was simply exactly what you said. I felt like there was a gap.
Yeah.
I came to Ghana quite frequently, and the talent, and I say this all the time and nobody wants to hear. Why don't they want to hear? The talent in Ghana is unmatched. I don't think even the creatives here actually know how talented they really are.
Yeah.
And it's just simply there's certain rooms that unfortunately people aren't able to fit in or get even to that door. And that's why I started it. I wanted to just have the real conversations. And now I'm sitting here with Natalie Narh, who's also doing something very similar. So thank you for breaking doors and allowing creativity to shine.
Appreciate you for finding alignment in that.
Obviously, I want to get into a bit more because we are here and because this is a creative platform as well. If there are creators watching and they want to get involved, what does that look like in that moment for getting involved in New.Comma? I know
Involved
there's
in New.Comma.
memberships.
Okay, gotcha.
There's memberships there?
Yes, there are. So in terms of getting involved in New.Comma, literally just signing up at New.Comma.com, NEWCOMMA.com. And just as any other social platform, it's about, the other way to describe New.Comma is it's a vessel, right? And it's only useful if both ends of the party are on there, in that the creatives being matched with the talent seekers, right? And New.Comma is what you make it. You can use it as a really embellished link tree for selling your work, for selling your craft, for selling your thoughts, in terms of being able to have your portfolio, your bio, your feed, your services all on one link to share with people. And that's how people have been using New.Comma to find new opportunities. And like you mentioned, there's also membership tiers, or we've got membership tiers on the New.Comma platform. So of course it's a free tier. Any and everyone is open to signing up to New.Comma. We get the question all the time, oh, I'm not black or I'm not African, can you sign up to New.Comma? You can, because the whole point of it is to connect our talent pool of black and African creatives with the rest of the world. So if you are interested in creatives who can do the work regardless, you can sign up to New.Comma as well. So yeah, so that's a free tier. The first paid tier is the plus tier, and that's all focused on the app or like the website in itself. So with that, you have things like having more extended posts in the feed, being able to have more blocks on your project, being able to have something that we call comma credits that you can use to advertise vacancies on your platform.
Okay.
So if you're looking for, say, a makeup artist for this shoot, if you're a plus member, you can advertise that vacancy on the platform. And then the final tier is the pro tier, which we describe as a phygital membership. So bringing the physical and digital facets of the world together, because for us, it's all about expanding your opportunity surface area and being able to find an opportunity by applying to something online isn't the only way that you can find a job.
Yeah.
Especially if you work in the creative industry, you can meet someone at an exhibition, a concert, in the club, any and everywhere. So
why not?
So for us, it's about being able to be as flexible as possible to the different ways that people can connect with each other and find opportunity. So yeah, with the Pro plan, you get some of the features that I mentioned within the Plus plan, but also having more common credits. So it's 150 for the Plus and 250 for the Pro. But then you also have things like getting discounts to different workspaces like Bureau or Palm Moments, and we're looking to work with more content spaces both here in Ghana and across the rest of the continent as well. So those are some of the perks that you get with being a New.Comma Pro member.
Lock in. Now I want to know, before New.Comma, what were you doing before this?
Before this, and I cited my 90-year-old self because I think what I'm going through right now in my late 20s is what I went through at 19. And when I was 19, I had some level of an identity crisis in that I was doing so many creative things that I didn't know what to call myself, or people didn't know what to call me, or people didn't know what to do with me.
Yeah.
Because I did multiple things. So I started this business called Latch to kind of consolidate everything. So it's like, oh, what do you do? I run this entity called Latch Productions. And under that umbrella, I started freelancing in uni. I went uni in Knots in the UK.
Ooh,
And
nice.
that transition was something. Because I grew up in Ghana. So socially, I had a bit of flexibility in terms of choosing when I wanted to interact with people and choosing when I didn't want to interact with people. Whereas when I moved to the UK for uni, I did not have that flexibility as much because I'm learning a new environment, I'm learning about new people. And I would say I had 2 layers of a culture shock. There's being a minority for the first time. But then
Let's talk about it.
there's also still feeling like an odd fit within the Black community as well.
Yeah.
And not necessarily because it was explicitly othering, but then also purely because I did not grow up in the environment. So someone growing up as a Black British person in London had things that they could relate to that I just can't because
You grew up in Ghana.
was not there.
Yeah.
You know? And because I sat in that odd middle, sometimes I would have things said to me about the continent where I was like, oh, that's not quite the case or true. I don't know why I thought that was okay to say to me, but like
This is not it. Let's not do that.
Yeah. So it was just mapping through those different realities and different touch points and being able to still form an identity for myself through the work that I did. So I used the work that I was doing through Latch to meet people because my clients were essentially my uni mates, right? Yeah. And that's also how I got myself out there through my work. And then eventually I then had to find the balance because I was too much into the work and not enough about like Natalie the person. But then thankfully when I started working within agencies, I used my portfolio that I built with Latch to apply for internships. That's how I ended up working at Ogilvy, and then I eventually moved to an influencer agency called BDB. But the core of who I was as a creative in the industry started with Latch, and I started because I wanted to consolidate my identity, but then I also wanted a foundation to act as a springboard to the other opportunities that I had.
Like, you've been building ecosystems, you've been building rooms and platforms and creating these spaces. How do you feel like you remain and still find the creativity that you've always loved? How do you still become or still shine as the creative Natalie?
I need to be very pragmatic now and also very realistic, and it's something that I'm learning in this current season that I'm in, because in being someone who automatically likes to help other people, you end up realizing that you can't pour from an empty cup. And I would say between 24 and like the top of 26, I've definitely been in that, I actually do not have what I want to give other people because I haven't felt as fulfilling of that of myself, either in terms of being able to be confident in my craft because I'm not doing it as often, or being able to sustainably monetize the craft because I've given so much of my time to helping other people do so.
Yeah.
And when you flatline in that sense, you find it very hard to be able to pivot, because with pivoting you still require energy, you still require time, you still require capital, you still require like a certain understanding of whatever it is that you're doing. But then when you're flatlining because you're prioritizing everyone else, you do not even have the energy
to prioritize yourself.
to do so. So yeah, I'm saying all of that to say that I'm focusing now on the things I already know I'm good at, right? Because I don't think over the past decade I've ever really had a question of like myself and my abilities.
Yeah.
If you give me the job, I can do it.
Hello.
Well, right? And that's something that anyone who has worked with me will and can say. And that's something that I want more creatives to be able to say, because your work is everything that you can attach your credibility to. right? You're only as good as your last project. You could have done something amazing in 2017, but no one cares if you kind of do the same thing in 2026.
Yeah.
You know?
If there's no growth.
Exactly. There's no growth, there's no momentum, there's no validation of the craft and the necessity of the craft. So yeah, that's what I'm really trying to do right now, to further validate the talent I know I already have by doing more of it, and then using that basis to continue the ecosystem building I've already been doing. So yeah, eventually finding a balance there.
Do you feel like the balance, you're finding it difficult to find a balance, or have you managed to balance yourself out slowly where you're like, okay, now it's making a bit more sense?
In terms of balance, it is hard, that I will say, but it's also something I've come to accept will be a never-ending dance, right? Because there are other facets to my life outside of work that also demand my time, demand my energy, demand my emotions and thoughts, right? And once again, it's just being realistic about the fact that you will have other things in life pulling at you, and
Consistently.
exactly, and in accepting the balance will never truly come. That's what really made a big difference for me, because I spent a lot of time trying to stabilize everything, and in me not being able to achieve that, I was losing myself more and more, and just being able to know that yes, you can have certain things, just not all at the same time. That feels more indicative of a life worth living than trying to be everything at once and not
Being
really
anything for
doing-
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Obviously, we're speaking creativity. We're speaking specifically not only about the Ghana creative industry, but that's where we are right now.
Yeah.
So I do want to dwell into that a little bit more. Obviously, where you spent time in London and there was creative work in London, sure, I'm also in London. I know that our battles there and our battles here are very different. We're not talking race anymore. Now it's more so gender.
Yeah.
Right? As a woman building in this culture, building in this creative space, how has it been for you? Do you feel like there's pressure to oversell yourself, or pressure to basically prove that I'm supposed to be in this room?
I think that's another thing that I can give my parents thanks for, because one, it was having that enabling creative environment, but then also secondly, my sister and I were never really put in a position where it's like, oh, you shouldn't or can't do this because you're a woman. It's like, do you want to do it? Sure. You know, but I think as I've gotten older, I'm trying very hard to be cognizant of those barriers, because I found myself trying to navigate through the industry without really thinking about it actively. But I have to think about it actively, both for myself, but then also for the other women in the industry, because we're building something like New.Comma. Nuance is basically our bread and butter, and gender is a part of that nuance. And it's just little things like maybe we're doing customer service and the response is, all right, bro, but it's like, I'm a woman, but okay, sure. You know, I still get tiny stuff like that, and then obviously the bigger stuff like trying to conduct business and then people necessarily being as professional as they should be. I'm finding that more here, and as I continue to conduct my business here, once again, it's also being cognizant of I will have barriers of that nature, but then it's also not definitive of the work that I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I am also moving into a conscious state where I need to be able to recognize the biases. I need to be able to recognize the biases to be able to implement policies within my business, but then also the businesses that I work with, to ensure that there is enough of equity between the genders in the industry. But I think to close on this, I'm just in a space where I want to listen to myself more and to listen to more women in the industry as well, because as much as there are assumed critical assumptions about who women are, what we can do, everyone is still an individual at the end of the day.
Yeah.
During the resurgence of the BLM movement 2020, a lot of my work was really embedded into the D&I space in my agency. And one thing that we had to keep telling management at that point is, yes, there are critical assumptions that you are making about black people in the industry, but at the end of the day, everyone is their own person within your department, within your team, within your church, wherever you find.
Not everyone's the same.
Exactly. So you can't assume something that I believe to be true is something that you would believe to be true. And you can only find that out by listening to people and by actively considering what someone is telling you in that moment.
What they're saying, not what they're not speaking for everybody in the room right now.
Exactly. And the same thing applies to gender. Yes, there are general biases that we need to be aware of and imbibe, but if Nance does not like something, Nance is the one you're dealing with. So
Natalie might like it. Okay.
Exactly. And it's through listening to people that you can figure out what end of the spectrum they sit on. So listening is the key takeaway from this in any identity pocket that we're referring to.
Okay. I do have another segment that I want to go into, but before we get into that, I do want to talk about the Ghanaian creative space.
Yeah.
And things that I've noticed. I want to see if you've noticed the same things, right? Collaboration. What is your thoughts on collaboration? What are your thoughts about getting people into the right rooms through collaboration? And I say this to say, I just don't believe we collaborate enough in Ghana. I'm not even gonna lie. Don't shoot me. Don't kill me. I beg of you. I feel like we need more of that. I don't believe. I don't believe. I don't believe one person making it means that none of us can make it. And I don't believe you have to wait for one person to make it to the top. Or wait for yourself to make it to the top before you can help other people. I just don't feel like we collaborate enough.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? What do you see?
As soon as you said Ghanaian creative industry, I just knew
you knew where I was going.
the main topic, and I think you're definitely spot on with that. But it's so difficult because on one side, I can understand why someone might perceive certain opportunities to be like a one-off.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, it's all boiling down to ingredients, right? We can all have the same idea, but the way everyone executes it is completely different. And at the end of the day, execution is all that matters. Have all the ideas.
I mean, we can all have beans.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I've made wachi. She's made red.
Exactly. So it's all down to what you want to do with it. And we do not have the luxury of competition. If no one has told you, I'm telling you this today.
I swear.
The continent, Ghana, Accra, Kumasi, wherever else you want to boil it down to in this country, we do not have the luxury of competition. Completely different if we had a really mature creative industry, we had a fair sense of what to expect, we had all the policies in place, we had all the infrastructure settled. We simply do not have that. And I think it's about time that I feel like my key word throughout this whole interview has been realistic. Just be realistic and pragmatic about where everyone is. And once you have that as the baseline, and once you put ego to the side,
you will find
that your best work will come to life. Because it's so frustrating, like partnering someone and then like the most work they do is like their logo on the poster, and it's like, we partnered for a reason. There's value that I am bringing to the table, there's value that you are bringing to the table. And it points to one of my key ideas about you knowing who you are and what you do. If you have a really solid understanding of who you are and what you do, you wouldn't necessarily feel intimidated by the person that you're working with, because you know, okay, this is my role, I can do it really well, and you being here is not going to take that away from me, right? And because a lot of people haven't really figured that out, there's a lot of additional vulnerability that comes with partnering with people. And I think that's what we need to solve first before anything else really makes sense.
I think that's what collaboration looks like when it's healthy. So let's get into the healthy stance of collaboration. Let's collaborate more. I promise you, if one wins, we all win. You know? Because right now, we're building. We're still very much in building rooms.
The genesis of the genesis.
It's still beginning. It's still beginning. Now, I want to get into the next segment, and that is, this one is not about bloodlines, it's all about vibes, okay? I want to find out how Ghanaian you really are.
Cool, that's good.
I have this game right here called How Ghanaian Are You from the How Ghanaian Are You company of Nizas and Friends. And I've chosen 2 cards from here, which we are going to get into. But before we get into these, I have some questions myself.
I don't know, I'm nervous.
I have some questions myself.
Yeah.
So I want to go into them and see how Ghanaian you are, okay? It's not bloodline, it's not passports, it's vibes, okay? It's habits, values, culture, you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you operate on Ghana time or calendar invites?
If it's not on my calendar, you will not see me there.
Hey. Simple like that. Okay, cool.
I live by my calendar, both personal and professional.
Okay, so but Ghana time doesn't exist amongst that calendar.
Oh, you mean sometimes, you know.
It's not our fault though.
You know, it
Okay.
isn't.
Okay. If somebody says you're invited, are you going, or do you understand the protocol? When we're eating.
I was gonna say, like, in a food context.
Yeah, food.
Oh, that one, I take it as what, niceties, you know? It's like, you're invited, but like, not quite. Or it depends. It depends on who's inviting me.
It depends on who's inviting me.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
most of
lie.
the time, it's just like, I'm acknowledging the fact that I'm eating and you're here. That's what I take it as.
Let me just say something. Quick pause on the mic. Yeah, let me quickly say something. If I say you're invited, it's not that you're not invited, please. But you're actually not invited.
Exactly, so I take it as that.
Like, because no, somebody really put their hand in my food last time. You know who you are. But it's good. You're invited, Sha. We'll take it like that. Okay, anyways. If you hear chalet, do you know automatically, is this a friendly or a serious vibe? Can you tell the tonage of chalet?
But I feel like chalet it's like saying A or A. It has different,
The tonage, and it still sounds.
The tone is the message. Because chalet is different from chalet or like chalet. You know, so it depends on.
But you can tell each one.
Yeah, I'd say so. If I'm in danger or like I'm in peril or like it's a good thing. So like you can tell by the tone.
So I'm saying, oh, chalet. So you clock the
Yeah,
vibe.
the two.
Okay, cool. Now, let me get into the cards games because I want you to, these are the cards, guys. I want you to imitate a church mate getting your attention for the fair.
Did you pick these cards at random?
I promise you, I swear, I just opened and I just took, yeah.
I'm going to fail very badly.
It's fine. I'm the one that I've sat in the chosk.
Very badly.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not even minding you.
irrevocably badly.
I'm going to circle.
Oh, circle.
Yeah, circle.
Done. It's not that it.
No, but you want to get my money. How will you like get my attention? I'm saying this.
Circle.
I'm already on the chotro. I'm already in there. You're not trying to get me in there. I'm already there.
So I'm trying to get your money.
Yeah.
But there's so much pressure. I will take the loss. The trotro driver and I will have to fight.
Oh,
because I would not be able to get his money.
Okay, that's fine. Free journeys. Free journeys or 2026.
Free
I'm like
transport for all in Ghana. That's the kind of Ghana I want to live in. And I'm sure everyone else will want to live in the same one.
Vote for Natalie Narh.
Amen.
2020, B. Muhammad's journey just landed. So
Hey,
2020,
I have no political ambitions.
Okay. So I have another segment, and this is called If I Had the Scripts.
Gotcha.
And on If I Had the Scripts, it's my play at being in the creative room as a director, what the case may be. Literally just saying that if I had the scripts and I could change something, what would I do? So if you had the scripts to power or rewrite or just advise a room of creatives right now, what would you say?
Be very honest about who you are and where you are in your journey. I think a lot of creatives end up in that imposter syndrome box because we're simply not honest enough with ourselves. And it's going to relate to what we said about collaboration, because sometimes we put ourselves in positions where we might not be ready for that partnership, we might not be ready for that job. Sometimes it's good to take the risk, because biting off more you can chew can work in your favor sometimes. In terms of, I've never done this before, but I've done something similar, so I'm going to take this on to see if I can do it. But I think Ghanaian creatives especially, we have a habit of biting like way more than we can chew, you know, and that's usually the time where you should ask for help.
Yeah.
But you bite off more you can chew, and you're struggling because you're simply not being realistic about where you are, the resources you have, the team that you have, etc. And I think if more of us came to that conclusion, it would be a lot easier to ask for help. It would be a lot easier to collaborate. It would be a lot easier to build a portfolio and grow with other people.
Now, we're talking legacy. In 10 years' time, Natalie Narh, New.Comma, Latched, what do you want people to understand? What do you want them to remember or take? We're talking 10 years from now.
Seeing as my 90-year-old self was right, I'll probably say the same thing as the very first thing I said, which was Natalie was able to be the best creative that she could be as an individual, and she helped other people do the same.
I love that. I love that. Now, if people are looking for you, they want to get involved, they want to know more about Latched, New.Comma, or just about Natalie herself, talk to them. Where can they find you? What do they need to do?
First of all, you can find me on New.Comma. I'll start with my social platform, Newcomma. My handle there is Natalie, because who's the other Natalie on New.Comma? So that's one. Two, you can find, well, New.Comma, same handle, but then on Instagram, as I'm sure most of you are on, new.comma. And for myself, it's NATALIIWE_N on those social platforms.
And Latched?
Latch, yeah, for Latch, so it's Latch Partners on Instagram, it's Latch Partners on New.Comma. So updating everything else, but most likely be Latch Partners.
Okay, amazing. I'm going to be waiting for those stories. I'm going to be watching. Maybe I'll be involved in a story. I don't know. Who knows yet?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Might even be in relation to...
It may even be in relation to this. Trust me, do you know how I found this? Natalie. She did a thing with that one. I'm not going to lie. But yes, culture moves fast, but foundations are always built to last. So thank you so much for being somebody that is creating a foundation that is going to last, that is impacting and doing what needs to be done. Thank you so much. I am Nan Scripts. You can follow us at Northside Hub on everything, and me personally at Nan Scripts. Very simple, I promise you. But yes, this has been Can We Talk podcast. Keep it locked in. Bye bye.